HaKadosh Baruch Hu is speaking and says, you sit and speak against your brother, you slander your mother's son, these have you done and I kept silent. You thought I was like you? I will rebuke you and lay it clearly before your eyes. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us a message of what's going to happen not only at the end of days but also at the end of patience for each and every single person. What's the end of patience? HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, says the Ibn Ezra, you are guilty of all these crimes, yet I patiently kept silent and ignored your sins to give you an opportunity to do tshuva. You misinterpreted my patient silence and thought that I was unaware of your concealed crimes. What you do behind doors, when your wife is not there, when your computer is on, when you're at the office by yourself, who comes to visit you, when the customer doesn't know his right or left and he simply assumes you're telling him the truth, when you have an opportunity to take that's not what's not yours, you thought that only the customer doesn't see, you thought that God doesn't see. Hashem says, I saw. And you assumed that since I didn't do anything, I didn't punish you, you thought I was like you. You misinterpreted my patient silence and thought I was unaware of your concealed crimes. You compared me to yourselves and you imagined that just as mortals are ignorant of conspiracies, so too is God. I will rebuke you and lay it clearly before your eyes. Where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is warning, my patience will come to an end, and I will rebuke you and set forth the case against you. I will enumerate every one of your concealed sins, clearly demonstrating that I always knew your secrets. Here is the scariest thing of all. When the day of judgment comes, not just as a whole, when Mashiach comes, but on an individual basis, your heart is put on trial. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show you all the things you thought that no one saw. The worst part of it is not the things you're thinking about. Oh, the woman he cheated on, the men, the money. No, it's not. That's not the worst part. That's the obvious part. No, it's the worst part. Says the Bet Levi, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I will rebuke you and lay it clearly before your eyes, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us, says the Bet Levi, is that at each man's ultimate heavenly trial, he will be shown from his own actions the faultiness of his own justifications and rationalizations. In so many words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to rebuke you over your mitzvot and how you did them. Why? When it came down to publicizing Torah, when it came down to helping other people, all of a sudden I don't have, we have a lot of debt. You know, I have so many bills. I will rebuke you and lay it clearly before your eyes. Meaning, I will show you how crooked your heart was with the things you think you did good. You say you did the mitzvot, you said you kept Shabbat, you said you gave tzedakah. Let's compare it to how you kept the laws of your lust, the laws of your desire, the laws of your own ta'avot. Let's compare the two. Which one were you more loyal to? Building your house here or building your house there? This is the scariest part. Why? Because at the end of the day, David HaMelech is telling us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not only telling you I know what you're feeling. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to show you what you're feeling, and I will rebuke you based on what you felt. All the things you did good. Forget the sins. That's already obvious. When you stole, when you cheated, when you lied, all that's obvious. There's going to be judgment for that. A chamor can understand that. We're talking about for the religious. We're talking about for the ones who think we're doing good. Us, Rabotai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show us. Oh, over there. Let's see. How much did you spend on your car? How much did you spend on the mitzvot? How much did you spend on your house? How much did you spend on mezuzot? How much did you put effort into praying? How much did you put effort into closing a business deal? How much did you put into studying Torah? How much did you put into making new friends in order to get a raise at your job? How much? HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show us the scariest things. Why? Because literally, all of the fakery, all of the lies, all of the illusions will be put on a platter. And that, Rabotai, that's the reason why the sages say that's scary, scarier than Gehenom. Why? Because you literally become like the Shvatim. You cannot handle literally realizing not only you lived a lie, but it's exposed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I've been watching it the whole time. You thought I was like you. You thought I wasn't watching, I didn't notice. No, you thought I was like you, I don't know. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to show us the reality of our actions. That's the scariest part. That's the scariest part. Why? Because it's all in our heart, and only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows it, aside from us. Nobody else can know if you're a faker. Nobody knows whether you're a faker. You could even lie to your spouse to a certain extent, and they won't know if you're a faker. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows. And He doesn't only know, He's going to show it to us. And He's going to rebuke us with that. He's not going to rebuke us based on our neighbor. He's not going to rebuke us based on Moshe Rabbeinu. He's not going to rebuke us based on some illusion. He's going to rebuke us based on us. That's the scary part. And therefore says the Chobot HaLevavot, all of the service of God is reduced to that of the heart and tongue. What you feel, what's really in your heart, and what words come out of your mouth.